Hey y'all, welcome back to the Prolific Hood podcast. I'm your girl Leah Cheyenne, and I'm super excited today to be joined by a special guest, Brittnie Demosthene. Hi, Brittnie.
Hey, thanks for having me. Oh my God, I'm so excited.
I'm so excited to have you, and I'm going to let you jump into telling us a little bit more about you. But before that, I want to just share with our audience how I met you, how I know of you. So really quickly, and I've spoken about this retreat on the pod before, but last year, um, Brittnie, through her company, her group, the Soul Seekers Club, hosted a really powerful weekend in the Poconos that was really special. My sister Tasia and I went, and it was just very cozy and heartwarming. It was an opportunity to get to know some other folks that we hadn't met before. It was an opportunity to go a little bit deeper within ourselves because there was a sacred mushroom ceremony with sacred cacao and mushroom. Brittnie teamed up with Black Girls Hike to do a really awesome hike, which was really cool. And it was just a really lovely experience. There was so much love and care that went into that retreat that has stuck with me. And I've shared about it on the podcast before, but I'm so excited to have Brittnie here to talk more about the Soul Seekers Club and the work that she does. But before we jump into that, Brittnie, I want to give you an opportunity to introduce yourself to the people. So please tell us who you are.
Thank you so much. Oh my goodness. Well, hi everyone. My name is Brittnie Demosthene. I'm the founder of the Soul Seekers Club. I'm a conscious creative, a wellness practitioner, and a liver of life. And I
Yes.
deem the Soul Seekers Club because I consider myself a professional soul seeker.
Mm.
So I wanted to embody that in something that I can cultivate for the collective, for like-minded people. I've been a wellness practitioner for a couple of years now. My journey came from, I have a background in medicine.
Mm.
So my original path of career, I was always aiming for like medical school and just, you know, what my parents had in mind for me growing up. And after I graduated from college, I tried to apply to a physician assistant program and I
Mm.
didn't get in. And I thought that was my chance to really think about, like, okay, do I want to do this again? Take the test to get into grad school, be in grad school for years just off of something that I'm not even sure that I love. And I
Mm-hmm.
knew in my heart for years that I always wanted to be a creative. I just didn't know what. Coming from Caribbean background parents, it's like,
Mm-hmm.
well, they only see stuff. That
Mm-hmm.
we've had some convictions.
I know. Facts.
You can't do what? You have to be doctor, you have to be lawyer, you have to be
Mm-hmm.
nothing in between.
Mm-hmm.
So I had taken the opportunity. I chose myself, is what I always,
Yes.
say,
Mm.
after I graduated, and I took that year off to just figure out, like, what do I want to do? And I deviated into holistic medicine, wellness practices, spirituality. I started solo traveling. That just opened the
Yes.
door for like so many things. And literally my life has been a domino effect since that day,
Mm-hmm.
just constant evolution after evolution. I feel like I found like my hobbies, my interests after the age of like 24, and
Wow.
life really started for me. And I finally like felt what it is that I want to do on this earth and how I want to serve. So yeah, and ever since then, I've just been exploring entrepreneurship, exploring um, breaking out of my mold with like different experiences and creating experiences for myself and other people. So, with that to this day, it's cultivated into me being a life coach, me being a
Mm.
Reiki practitioner, and a content creator at my core. And yeah, just a professional soul seeker at heart. So
I love
that's a
that.
little bit of me. Yeah.
I love that. So many things to unpack with that. I love the statement, like, I chose me, I chose myself. So many
Yeah.
people don't do that. And they go through life always wondering what could it have looked like had I bet on myself and had I chosen myself. So I think that's really beautiful. And um, I'm like, this will come up in other interviews, but I'm noticing how many like just dope, incredible, creative Black women started off trying to pursue medicine. Either
Really?
because, yeah, like either because maybe parents wanted them to do that or they thought that was the way to go and quickly learned, like, actually, I need to be over
Depends on
here doing this. I'm like,
right.
that's so interesting to me. But yeah, I just so many things are beautiful about what you said, and
Yeah.
I've been able to witness some of your creativity and experience some of your magic, like through the retreat, through our conversation now, and I'm just excited to share more about you and your work with our audience.
Yeah.
So, okay, before we get into the nitty gritty and all the cool stuff, real quick. So you relocated last
Oh my
year.
God. I'm a born and raised New Yorker that has moved to Los Angeles. Yep.
Yes, all the way from one coast to another. So how has that been in short? Like
Oof.
do you feel like you found your place? Like do you feel like you found your place for now? Do you
Mhm.
feel like this is like a like what about it? Like tell me
Yeah,
more.
yeah. It's been definitely a topic. In
Mhm.
terms of like it being my place, I think
Yeah,
going over there, and I'll give you the backstory, but going over there, I realized that I don't think I have a place. Like,
got
for
you.
example,
Mhm.
born and raised in New York and only living here for my entire life. I never went away for college, never,
Yeah. Same.
nothing. Yeah,
Yeah.
just stayed on the block, Jenny on the block for the last couple of 20 years, Jenny on the block, really on the block.
Yeah.
So I've realized that after finally like leaving and being somewhere else, I actually like have a desire, ironically, to become a nomad now in a sense.
Mhm. Mhm.
Myself out of the only thing that I've known just kind of opened my eyes a little bit more, even though I've traveled and I've been to so many places for certain periods of time. But yeah, and that's always been a thing with me. But
Yeah.
in back to like the reason, so I moved for work. So aside from being a creative entrepreneur, I
Mhm.
still have, some 9 to 5 jobs from time to time. And I decided to work with a wellness company, an herbal wellness company, about a year and a half ago here in New
Mhm.
York, a brick and mortar in Brooklyn. And they decided to open up an LA location, and I was already going to Burning Man. If you know, Burning Man is
Yeah.
this amazing, they call it a rave, but it's really this like camping festival experience in the desert in Nevada.
Mhm.
Already like purchased a ticket, no notion of moving to anywhere. I was just going and then coming back. And I had mentioned it to the company. I was like, hey, I know you guys have been sending people over to help with the opening of the new location. I'm going to be on the
Mhm.
West Coast. Do you need help? And they're like, actually, we need a manager to help set up the store and relocate. So I was like, I'll
Yeah.
do it. Like I want something fresh, something new. So I took the opportunity. When I tell you I had 1 month to prepare,
Mhm.
to like let go of my apartment in Brooklyn, to pack,
Oh,
deep everything,
yeah.
move into storage, aka my parents' house, and then head on over and just kind of get settled. So with that, like my journey into LA was not the most comfortable. It was
Okay.
definitely rushed, like compared to
Yeah.
someone may have taken a job opportunity and had like months to prepare before move.
Mhm.
Mine was so rushed. And then
Yeah.
the grand opening was so popular, and the store itself is very successful. So it's been nonstop busy, busy. So
Mhm.
it was definitely a lot. When people ask me that, I always say like the job has had such an impact on me that it's
Mhm.
affected like the way that I can really dive into a new city and explore LA for what it is.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, that's like rapid rapid fire, like
Rapid
rapid
change.
rapid everything.
Yeah.
That's so interesting. Thank you for sharing that though. And
Oh,
I actually love your correction at the start of that about how like not necessarily feeling like it's your place and adapting more of like a nomadic lifestyle and mentality. I think I
yeah.
mean, I saw a quote a long time ago. So I'm gonna butcher this, but basically it was saying like human beings, we have legs. If we were meant to stay in one place, we would have roots, like as if we were a tree, you know?
Ooh, that's good.
And I saw that and I was like, I think that's true. Like that's how I look at travel because I love to travel. Um,
Yeah.
but I haven't necessarily moved like in adulthood, like relocated to a new place. I've moved in childhood. That was not in my control. That was not my decision. Those were not places I stayed long term. I've been in New York the longest, but I've always had a desire to go somewhere else. And I don't know exactly where yet, but it's even though it's rapid fire, it's still inspiring to hear more about how you did relocate and move. And yeah, I think it's even though it's been like hectic, I think it's still inspiring and cool. And I hope you will get, a chance to really dive into the city and see more about it and experience more of it that's not just centered around like this particular transition.
Exactly, yeah. And to
Yeah.
to your point, like not knowing where you want to go. I didn't know where I wanted to go either, but I ended
Mm.
up realizing I had realized when I got to LA that
Mm.
everything that I was asking for earlier that year in my journal as I was scripting was unfolding,
Ooh.
and I didn't even, like, realize it. I had
Ooh.
asked this same job I was at, I think the position that I was in, it was
Mm-hmm.
still at an associate level,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, I really want to be in leadership. I really want
Yeah.
a job that I can be in leadership, I can be a creative, and I can be potentially remote so that I can travel or just have or travel for work in some capacity.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
I can't see that here. So I'm just going to manifest it outside of this current job. And that's what I
Yeah.
was scripting. That's what I was writing. And then here I get at least like 75% of the manifestation came true. Because here I am in
Yeah.
a new city. I'm living somewhere else. I'm technically, traveling. I feel like I'm a
Mm-hmm.
traveler in
Mm-hmm.
LA or like on the West Coast, just,
Mm-hmm.
exploring bordering cities and states. And I'm in leadership and I am exercising my creativity. So, all
Yeah.
that to say, like, if you don't know exactly where you want to go, I think it's more so about like setting the intention of what you want to experience and how.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
then universe will provide you those opportunities, just like I got mine out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah,
I love that. I love that. Like we talk so much about the power of the tongue, but the truth is there's a lot of power in like writing and
as
a version
well.
of the written word that's not like literal scripture, like religious text, but
Yeah,
like
yeah.
you writing and creating your own word. And I think that's there's a lot of power in that. You're reminding me I need to get back to writing down my intentions. I
So,
speak a lot what I
yeah.
want. I visualize a lot what I want, but I always write it down. And I need to get back to doing that.
It's tough. I
Yeah.
don't
Good.
think I like journaling as much as I like everybody else. Like, it's easy for some
Mm-hmm.
people, but I think for me, I know I have to get out of my head about
Yeah.
no one else is gonna read it? So I'm like, it doesn't
It's
have to
for
be
you.
perfect. It's for you.
Yeah.
Just throw down whatever you want to throw down. But yeah.
Yeah. And sometimes it's not always easy to free write, and
Mm,
sometimes it helps to have prompts, and that's one of the reasons why I created a journal. Like
mm,
during the pandemic, I created a journal for other
oh,
people to use to like help prompt some of those just things that we know inside that we don't always speak or write, to just get
yeah.
it out. So I think that's powerful. We can go on and on about this, but we need to get
I
to the
love it.
nitty gritty.
Right. Give it
I
to me
love
there.
this.
Come
No. So, the Soul Seekers Club. So, you shared
on.
a little bit more about just why you wanted to start it, like what it meant to you, but I would love like the real deep like origin story. Like I know you
Mhm.
consider yourself a soul seeker. That's what led you to the name and the work and wanting to inspire that in other people, but what was the origin story? Like how did you wake up one day and know, like, this is the business I want to form and this is how I want to help other people and serve other people? What's that
Yeah.
background?
Ooh, okay. So I think it comes in pieces for sure.
Mhm.
It's been a minute. Like I've been an entrepreneur for a minute. I be trying to discredit myself, and I have to remind myself, I'm like, no, you've been doing this. Like you really been doing
Yes.
it.
Facts.
Right. And I want to say my first business outside of like when I chose myself and I started to
Mhm.
realize what I want to do, I started making my own skincare products.
Oh,
That business
cool.
was called Essence of Brit, and I handmade
Ooh.
products, face masks, what else? Body scrubs, yoni steams, like all these herbal blends. And
Okay, Yoni
then
Steam.
yoni steams. And then I got into juicing. So
Mhm.
that like combined my holistic wellness aspect. And I started making like detox juice cleanses for people. And that was called
Nice.
Juice by Brit. And
Yeah.
then what else did I do? Um, I can't remember. There was something in between that time period, but I just like gradually started to create more streams of creativity for myself to be able to
Mhm.
provide services for people. So as a content creator, I started creating for people and helping them like um, creative directing, edit their videos, put them
Yeah.
together, like, providing that for them. And once I started to tap more into my spirituality, I
Mhm.
also started to host like classes and womb circles and just
Yeah.
offering Reiki and meditation one on one. So
Mhm.
my overall like goal was to always have some kind of space, either physical or more primarily physical, where I can like combine all those things into one. And how can I
Mhm.
help create um a space of self-development for folks
Mhm.
and give them like an overall experience. And
Right.
on top of that, with my traveling, I've always wanted to host a retreat. So, and I'm just
Mhm.
like throwing it into pieces because it's making sense.
Yeah.
Literally, the origin is that I wanted to combine all those things together
Mhm.
and serve particularly Black women and people of color.
Yeah.
And that like is changing as I'm seeing like who needs me over time.
Mhm.
And I remember when I've only visited LA once before I moved. So
Okay.
around 2022, I believe, in
Mhm.
December, I went to go visit a friend, and it was on the plane ride or just like a couple days prior, I was just getting downloads about what the Soul Seekers Club would look like.
Ooh,
And
yeah.
yeah, like branding wise, color scheme, like what
Mhm.
is it about? And yeah, and then I just kind of rolled with it. And ever since then, it felt like I had the seed planted for what that's going to look like. And
Yeah.
I definitely have to give a lot of props to all of the business coaches that I've had over the years,
Mhm.
um, especially the one that I'm working with now. Like they've all helped me brand this into what it's supposed to look like.
Yeah.
Um, and so, yeah, that's for the most part, it's been a journey of just like serving the collective, you know?
Mhm.
How can I how can I put all of my gifts and talents into one offer that helps
Mhm.
to bring people together, but helps to pour into them so they can kind of be like me. Oh wait, hold on. That's exactly what it is. I was like, wait, why am I running into circles? But spirit be just having you spit things out.
Yes. Yeah.
I knew that a lot of people were always so inspired by what I do online, like,
Mhm.
"Oh, you create
Mhm.
content so well. Oh, I love how you just get
You
up and
do.
go travel." And I would always get that feedback, and I'm
Yeah.
like, "You could do it too." Like, that's literally always been at my core. I just always want to
Mhm.
show people, like, how can you get there? And primarily how you get there is with self-work, self-development, creating
Mhm.
a sound, healing vessel for yourself to be able to, um like tap into your authenticity and tap
Mhm.
into your creativity. So I think Soul Seekers Club is like a mirror of myself
Yeah.
wanting to like help others unlock themselves and to like get to the space of the journey that I went through,
Mhm.
understanding where I really wanted to be, chose myself, and made those actionable steps to be able to create the life that I actually want to live.
Ooh, oh my gosh, you said
Mhm.
so much. You said
I
so
did.
much. I
I
I
did. I was
did,
like, you know
like,
what? Wait a minute. Let me get to
yeah,
the root, you know?
yeah. But I think it's beautiful that, like, in your own self-discovery journey and finding joy in these different places and areas and things that you like, and recognizing that it sparks a light in other people, like, you've been able to craft and shape such a beautiful and inspiring business. And I think that, not I think that, part of it is a quote that I'm also going to butcher. But the idea is that sometimes when you see people out here doing their own thing and just shining, it often inspires other people to do the same. And there's a saying that we can only see in others what we recognize in ourselves, whether that's good or bad. And people being able to witness, like, your work and your content, you don't even know, like, what a spark you might be igniting in other people. Like, I I still think about this. You did a reel, like, recapping your 2023, like, your highs and your lows, and it was so beautifully done. Like, even just taking snips and clips of these moments in time and thinking through what you wanted to say and communicate by stringing, like, those videos and clips together. It was such a beautiful reel. Like, I think I watched it like 3 times in a row. And I think I got a little moist in the eye. I was like, "This is so beautiful. This is so inspiring." But I'm just like, even whether that was the intention or not, like, even in you producing that, you don't always realize what an impact it's having on other people. And I think that's so just cool and
Yeah.
transformative. And, like, just by being your authentic self, like, you're already doing the work, or you're already being a vessel for the work.
Oh,
So
ooh,
yeah.
that's, ooh, I love that.
Yeah.
Write that down because that was good. That was good. What
Yeah.
you what you
Yeah.
that No,
Yeah,
for real, that's
exactly.
exactly what it is, and when I
Hmm.
think about it, and thank you so much, like, that is
Yeah.
my favorite reel too, and honestly, that was, like
Yeah.
that I put a lot of heart and soul into it because of the tremendous, like, abrupt
Hmm.
move and all that came after it. Like, I got into a car accident when I got
Yeah.
2 weeks into LA. I've been
Yeah.
without a car for, like, 6 months in LA, which is just
Yeah.
crazy, and just figuring all
Mhm.
that out, and it
Yeah.
actually caused me to take a hiatus from social media. Not so much
Mhm.
because I mean, yes and no, like, I had a lot of people tell me, like, "Give yourself time, and give yourself grace, you just moved to a new city, like, you don't have to
Yeah.
show up on social media and do it all and act like everything's
Mhm.
okay." And I'm like, "Yeah, but, like, I have so many people that I don't wanna leave hanging," and, I
Mhm.
just so hard on myself, and I took that minute away, so
Mhm.
that reel was really like, "Okay, I've been quiet, but here's, like, everything," but it was more so for
Mhm.
me to really, like,
Yeah.
see the progression and the beauty of my
Mhm.
progression. So exactly what you mentioned, like being your
Yeah.
authentic self online or anywhere, just doing it for you,
Mhm.
at the end of the day is going to give that tremendous impact because
Yeah.
it's coming from that space of authenticity.
Yeah. And
Mhm.
I think it's always important to, like, step away from a thing and come back to it. Like, give yourself space to just live and gain more experience and
Mm.
um navigate life and enjoy life, and then come back to it. Like, we all need those breaks, and it sounded like it was really important for you. And when you did come back, you came back bigger and better. So yeah, I think that's really great. You've already touched on some aspects about how your gifts are showing up in the work that you do, from Reiki healing to curating spaces for all people, people of color, Black women, everyone who needs your work or who's drawn to your work. I'm curious about how you've seen other gifts or additional gifts, like maybe not all spiritual, but even just recognizing some of your like core hard skills and your talents, how that's shown up and really supported you in your entrepreneurial journey.
That's a great question. Um, yeah, I would say, kind of how you were commenting on that reel that I made. I
Mm-hmm.
think I've developed a really great gift of, I guess, within filmmaking,
Yeah.
or just
Yeah.
like understanding how to make um content that you can feel. I don't know
Yes.
what that word is, or like how to describe it exactly, but instead
Yeah.
of just like putting things together, even though, yes, like, create for yourself and let the platforms be um your stage essentially.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I do like to send a message intentionally by creating content that you can feel. And
Mm-hmm.
I find that it's a beautiful like collaboration between editing and cutting the video just right, finding the song that like goes with the emotion that you're trying
Yes.
to emote and trying to have the people like download when they're
Yeah.
watching. And yeah, just like, yeah. So whatever skill that is, I could definitely say
Yes.
that I've grown into.
Mm-hmm.
Now I get it. Now I see why people always like, your content's so amazing. But I'm like, I'm not doing those crazy video edits like the top
Mm-hmm.
influencers that are
Mm-hmm.
doing the
The
holograms,
crazy.
or like duplicating
Yeah.
themselves, like,
Yeah.
and I'm like, "Ooh, I wish I could do that. Like, that's cool." Or I appreciate when I see that,
Yeah.
but it's just not it's not
It's not
my
your authentic self-expression. Like that's not
yeah.
your bag or your thing. Like,
Exactly. At least
yeah.
right now, like, who knows, that could change, but
Yeah.
now I get it. I'm like, "Oh, my simplicity is what sells," and that's
Yes.
just so definitely that. And I wanna say, understanding, so, aside from me managing this brick and mortar for the last couple of months, I've also
Mm-hmm.
managed a wellness space in Manhattan.
Oh,
Shout out to
cool.
Great Wellness, my
Yeah.
forever fam, forever home, one of the
Yeah.
best Black-owned wellness, massage, acupuncture spaces, yoga
Okay.
spaces
Say it
in
again for the people. Gray Wellness?
Gray, Grae, Gray
Okay.
Wellness,
All right.
Fifth Ave in near Union Square.
Okay.
Amazing. Like, and the community is just fire, and it helped me
Mm-hmm.
develop like so much about myself as a leader, as an entrepreneur, as a creative and a
Mm-hmm.
spiritual healer.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I helped to manage their operations. I was their operations manager for a year and some change, and I
Mm-hmm.
found how much just being in those spaces like helped me understand what it really means to run a business.
Yeah.
Um, so kind of putting those gifts into like I think I've coined the term like creative. What did I call it? Creative operation coordinator, something around that
Okay.
term, like that's my
Yeah.
LinkedIn now, and because it's a combination. Like I really love creating systems. Like I think that's like my
Mm-hmm.
strong suit. Um,
Yeah.
from working with other business owners and business coaches, just seeing like when you're creating structure for your business,
Yes.
funnels, your website, your marketing, and like making sure
Mm-hmm.
everything like leads to one thing, and creating email campaigns. Like there's so many systems behind that. And I'm
Yep.
not gonna lie,
Yep.
like, the more that I'm getting into my business, and understanding what it's gonna take to become successful, these are the
Mm-hmm.
nitty that I'm just like, all right, I'm not quite at the point where I could like just hire someone. I mean, I could,
Yeah. Yeah.
I never say never, but
Yeah.
you're always in the infancy phase of your business where like you're the one that has to do all these things.
Do
So
everything. Mm-hmm.
yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think I kind of lost track of the question, but I think
No, you
understanding
answered. Yeah.
great those aspects like really have helped shape my business over time.
Mm-hmm.
the more that I've learned from like trial and error, I can
Yeah.
really like see like I've recently had an epiphany of like, oh my God, everything that I've done in the past has been preparing me for the like just like the workship that I was gonna
Yeah.
host in the next 6 days that you were
Yeah.
gonna come to, and
I
I
know.
had to cancel it because I just made
Mhm.
the executive decision, like, okay, I put so much into it, like, I rebranded, you'll see, like, in a couple days,
Yeah.
I launched it, but I've rebranded color scheme-wise, logo-wise,
Mhm.
and, I'm just finally getting like, there's such a difference between doing something for the sake of doing it and doing it intentionally, and
Yes.
there's a difference between feeling like, okay, you need more money, you need extra income. So
Mhm.
but I know that I have a passion and I want to
Mhm.
follow my purpose in creating whatever this looks like as a business.
Yeah.
So because I have this desire for more money, I'm going to put so much pressure on myself to make my passion become successful. And then
Mhm.
sometimes that drive behind that isn't as it's not as intentional or it's not as
Yeah.
potent. So you do it with some kind of rush where like everything needs to be perfect because I needed to make money
Mhm.
versus that's where I used to be versus now I'm seeing how much like all of that was just trial and error for me to finally be in a space where I'm just like, okay, no, I now truly understand what it means to serve and what it means to create. And so I'm
Yeah.
going to do this intentionally without the notion or the what's the word immediate gain
Mhm.
that word oh goodness, it's killing me.
It'll come.
It'll come, but when you want that immediate,
Like the immediate like reward, the gratification. Okay.
exactly, exactly, you know, instant gratification. So when you put
Instant
instant gratification
gratification. Yeah.
to the side and you can
Mhm.
just focus on creating for the sake of creating, not for the sake of being like checked off somebody's box, like, yes, Brittany's doing
Mhm.
well, or like,
Mhm.
like
Yeah.
now I'm losing my other word. Damn, what's the other word? Um, oh,
It'll
goodness.
come. Checking off
You know,
boxes. It's not just for like that immediate gratification and satisfaction. It's like you're actually pouring your intention and your purpose into your work, and you're doing it to and ensure that you're producing something to a quality that you appreciate to your own standard, and like putting your work out into the world in a way that you can be proud and can be satisfying, knowing that in doing that work it'll manifest the results that you want. It may not be immediate, maybe down the line, but it's coming, you know. um
bring it on home, Miss Aaliyah, because you finished my whole sentence. Yes, that's exactly what's like.
but I think that's so powerful, and like I think there are spiritual gifts, there are, your core gifts and your hard skills, and all those things go into creating the life of your dreams and the business of your dreams. And it's funny that you were talking before about being really good at identifying and building systems, because so much of that is what it takes to build a brand and a business that can really thrive and grow and serve in the way that it's supposed to. And in order to be that leader and build it from the ground up, you have to know how to do all of the parts. But eventually you get to a place where you can hire people who are like smarter and better at certain aspects of it and can really help to grow your vision. And I think it's so important to have had the experience of working at other places so you can see what was done well. You can see what you would do better in your own business, but you have that information and that experience to help shape, your own vision for your own work too. And I think about that a lot too in my professional space, my entrepreneurial space, like what that looks like for me, like taking the values and the lessons and things that I've learned working elsewhere and applying it to what I'm trying to build for myself, and doing that with intention and recognizing that it's a long game. Like it's not going to be instant. That would be amazing. I would welcome it if it happens. That would be a miracle. Hello, universe. Like, please do. But recognizing that it's a long game. And while you were talking, something I was thinking about was I'm gonna forget the author's name, Lord have mercy, but I was reading The Energy of Money maybe like a
Mm,
year ago. And
of money.
I mean, there are a lot of lessons in that book, but the core thing that it always comes back to is how can we use this physical plane to manifest things that are not tangible? Like each of our souls and our spirits have a calling and a purpose and a thing we are meant to do and accomplish in this world. We Our duty is to materialize it. So whatever that thing is in that spiritual plane, like calling in the energy of money looks like materializing that spiritual thing. And everyone's gift is different. Like it could be the Soul Seekers Club. It could be a communications platform like a podcast. It could be someone who's an artist who's out here doing transformational paintings that are inspiring people, and they're hanging in museums and homes. It could be literally anything, but our calling and our job is to materialize that which is intangible and that which is immaterial, and pulling that into the physical plane and being rewarded with money through our gift. And I think
Mm.
that's for all of, that's for all of us, to find that thing. And I think something the book shares, that's one of the easiest ways to find that, is to lean into what brings you joy. What are you naturally good at? What are you naturally passionate about? And when you find that thing and you lean into it, that's one way of making the intangible tangible. Um, and I hear so much of that in what you shared about your work and inventing, like creating your business. I keep hitting my mic. Oh my God, I'm getting excited. But so much of that is like what you shared about how you've created the Soul Seekers Club and how you continue to evolve and grow it. And I think that's really powerful and really beautiful. So
Wow. Okay,
yeah,
no, you're definitely gonna have to share that author because
yes.
what is the book called again?
The Energy of Money.
The
I'm
Energy.
gonna get the author's name. I'm like blanking on her name right now, but
Oh
that
my
the book
goodness.
is
No,
called The
that's
Energy of Money. Yeah.
amazing. That was a really beautiful take, and I don't know if you listen to Abraham Hicks,
Oh
but
yes.
yeah, he talks about that a lot, not
Mhm.
verbatim, but I've heard her, like, say that in so many different ways, like, the
Yeah.
fact that I love that you said that the money is just the reward of for you doing what you love, instead of
Mhm.
actually chasing money, and while you were saying all that, what came to me was to mention how much, like, my business and my the way that I show up lately
Mhm.
has transformed so much because I started putting spirituality at the forefront of what I
Yeah.
do, but also,
Yeah.
like, involving my ancestors and my spirit
Mhm.
guides. Um,
Yeah.
it's been a game changer, and just, like, really being intentional about, everything, especially
Yeah.
with business. So, yeah, that
Mhm.
definitely made a difference.
Yeah, I think so
Mm,
too. I've been saying to myself, to my late grandfather passed over a year ago, and he had an entrepreneurial spirit back in his day.
mm,
And I like to think that I'm channeling that energy in the
mm,
flesh, and like always asking for guidance from him and other people in my family and my lineage who have passed on, who also had those spirits, and just entrepreneurial spirits, and just asking them like, am I doing this right? Like, share your
mhm.
wisdom with me, come through in my dreams, like, give me signs. And I feel like I've had little signs here and there, little messages in dreams. So I think they're showing up how they know best. But I love that tapping into spirituality is so important. Whatever one believes in. So you got
Right,
all kinds of belief systems out here. But
right, right.
yeah, I think that's beautiful. So I feel like you've talked about so many things and like hit on so many things that I wanted to ask, but I would love to know, um, we all define success differently. It looks different to each and every person, but for you personally in this life and in this work that you're doing, what does success look like to you? Or if it's not a look, what does it feel like to you in your body? Like, what will let you know that you've been successful, that you've done the right thing?
Yeah. I believe success feels like freedom.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very passionate about personal freedom.
Yeah.
Um, with the Soul Seekers Club, it's our motto, and yeah, I think success for me, it looks like being able to travel wherever I want to go and
Yes.
able to, like, I literally think about it often and I write the same things. Success for me means I want to have um, the financial freedom to be
Mm-hmm.
able to afford the things that are gonna feed my mind, spirit, and
Yeah.
body.
Yeah.
Body, I want to be able to get all the best wellness services. I want a massage per
Yes.
week. I want
Yeah.
the organic food that's gonna help me
Yes.
feel. I
Yeah.
want, like all those
Yes.
things in it. And the more that you realize, like, been tapping into the energy of luxury and the energy
Mm-hmm.
um of quality things, like
Mm-hmm.
owning quality things. It's not so much about, oh, being bougie or just having the best stuff for the sake of, like,
Mm-hmm.
it literally, like, for example, I had being home and staying with my parents and my sister.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm the older sister, but I'm raving
Yeah.
through my little sister's closet because I'm just like, you know what? I don't really like what I brought from LA. So,
Yeah.
what do you have in your closet? And
Yes.
she had this one hoodie, I think it's the brand Essentials.
Okay.
Yo,
Oh yeah.
that hoodie was so cozy, and I was like, "Oh, maybe it's
Mm-hmm.
just 'cause, it's not mine." No, no, no. That
Yeah.
whatever the material is was so comfortable. She
Mm-hmm.
was like, "Yeah," like, the hoodie alone was, like, 100 something dollars, and then she also
Mm-hmm.
has, like, a sweatpants set, which was probably another 100.
Mm-hmm.
And for some people, like, that's probably not within their budget. But when I think about it, I was like, "Oh, after feeling what that hoodie felt like, I
Oh
felt so
yes.
warm, so comfortable." Once you can feel what success looks like or what, like,
Mm-hmm.
comfort looks like,
Mm-hmm.
you have you won't bat an eye of, like, paying for whatever it is that's gonna give you
Oh
that piece of
yeah.
success. Kinda like,
Mm-hmm.
I think it was Steve Harvey had said, and other, like, influencers had rinsed and repeated it, like, "Get yourself a first class airline ticket or
Oh, the
business class.
goal.
Get it one time, and I promise you, it will shift your mindset to saying,
Mm-hmm.
'Oh, I'm never gonna not fly first class again because
Mm-hmm.
this is cozy, this is comfortable.'" And that was
Mm-hmm.
me. That was me when I went to Tanzania 2 years ago,
Oh
not.
yes.
No, 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 no. Take the snap
No.
back.
Oh,
I
oh,
didn't,
sorry.
but I was with a group trip and I saw all my other peers like
Uh-huh.
and they were taking photos of their little suite. And I was all the way in the back and I was just like, this is like a 10-plus hour flight. I was
Oh
like,
yeah.
damn. And for X amount extra, I could have,
Mm-hmm.
So I remember how that felt,
Yeah.
putting that
Yes.
all together. Like, just knowing what, like, sometimes you have to put yourself into what success feels like to
Oh
be able
yeah.
to shift your mindset to want more. But backtracking, that's what I would want. Like, I want the freedom to be able to get the things that are going to make me comfortable but are also going
Mm-hmm.
to elevate my mind, my body,
Mm-hmm.
and my soul in so many ways.
Yes.
And that looks like all those things. So yeah, that
Yeah.
personal freedom of everything at its core is what success looks like for me. And I would say
Yes.
success also, for me, looks like being able to provide for others, whether if it's my family,
Yeah.
whether if it's experiences, like the
Mm-hmm.
littlest thing, like weekend I was able to come home and hang out with my friends, and like I got them all drinks and I was like, ooh, that felt good, like I want to
Yeah.
be more money in my pocket to be able to do nice things for people, but also
Yeah.
carry the ones that helped carry me throughout time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and be able to support others and show others how to do the same thing.
Yeah, I think that's so beautiful and like we're aligned in so many ways. Because I'm like so much of what would make people like, and I'm using the word comfortable knowing that comfortable can mean many different things. But so much of what would make people comfortable is just being able to live well. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
we should all have access to healthy organic food that is affordable to purchase. Like, we should all be able to experience massages often, acupuncture, Reiki heal, like all of these things that support us. I was listening to an older episode of Small Doses by Amanda Seales, her podcast earlier, and she had a therapist on there, and she was like, I want to reframe the language from everyone needs therapy to everyone deserves therapy. Like everyone deserves to have the ability to speak to an unbiased person who's just showing up for them. Like it's not a give and take relationship, it's a give and give relationship because they're there for you. Like everyone deserves those things. So I think that's so beautiful, and I'm wanting the same things for myself. Like I want to fly first class one at least once in my life cuz
Yep.
and I've said
And you
that
would.
to myself. I will one day. I said to myself, Tasia and I had gone to Seychelles, I don't know, a few years ago, and
Ooh,
it was
nice.
when the flights, it was during the pandemic, so the flights were lower
Yeah.
than what they are right now. But it was such a long flight, but it was during the time when the airlines were still practicing like social distancing. So we had
Mhm.
like whole rows to ourselves, but we were, we still weren't in like first class. We could stretch out, but it wasn't a first class experience. And I told myself, if I ever flew that far and that long again, I have to build it into my budget for that experience that I fly first class. It's not, if I
It's
can't do it, I'm not going. Like, it's so
yeah.
long.
Yeah, it really is. Like even with a stop. Oh, and you know what else, girl? Oh
Mm
my God. When you fly to that, when you fly to that part of the world, like when I went to
hmm. Mm
Tanzania, the
hmm.
stop was in Qatar.
Okay.
The airlines, like when you
Mm
when
hmm.
you get there and you actually pay for those upgrades and you
Mm
get access to like the lounges at
hmm.
the
Yeah.
airport, it's such an experience. It
Yeah.
really elevates your whole everything. But that's
Yeah.
honestly kind of how it has to be. Like you kind of have to build it in, like you said, into your budget, but most importantly, build it into your mindset and say, like, no, this
Yeah. Your
is
mind. Mm hmm.
this experience that I want to have from
Mm
beginning
hmm.
to end.
Yeah, absolutely. And also just like recognizing that it's not even a I don't even want to label it a bougie or like a luxury thing. Like we deserve. If anyone deserves experiences like this, it's
Right.
black women, it's
It is
indigenous
right.
women, it's
Right.
women of color, it's everybody. But like if anyone really deserves it, it's us. So just shifting my mindset around that is important too. Like we deserve it. We're worthy of it. We've been boxed out of it for a long time historically. Yeah. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Well, cheers to this year being our what are we making it this year or next year? Our first class. Oh, you know what? Hold on. Let's I'm a claim it here right now because you were part of
Okay.
my
Yes.
retreat, and I'm
Okay.
happy to have you as a founding soul seeker.
Oh my
So
gosh.
for one of my next retreats or in my next
Okay.
it
Yeah.
will be fabricated and doused in luxury, and
Okay.
that experience. It will be a
Yes.
mindset shift from beginning to end. And
Yes.
I'll be able to throw a group trip next year, 2025,
Okay.
where flying first class and we are having a
Okay.
experience and it will be all
Yes.
around that. So
I love
yes.
that. Let me start putting money aside now so it can be possible for me. Yeah, but I claim that, I received that, and I want to be there. So I'm gonna make sure I keep
Yeah.
an eye out for that. Make sure I start budgeting for that from now. But yeah, I'm claiming that. Like there are a couple places that I have in mind that I would love to see this year. I like spoke about
Yeah.
it in a previous episode, but like I've had 2 failed attempts to go to Morocco and I really want to
Mm,
make it there. And a couple of other places. And I've said to myself, like, these might be the ones where I need to like budget for first class.
yeah.
So I'm manifesting that for myself, and yeah,
Amen.
luxury from
Yeah.
here on out.
Morocco is beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. So I don't know. We've covered so much. I know we're coming up on time. So I just really quickly, I would love for you to just let the people know where to find you. I know like you've shared a lot about the evolution of the Soul Seekers Club and what you're manifesting to create next year and a lot of exciting things that are coming up. So if you want to share more about what the next chapter for the Soul Seekers Club looks like for you, you can. And then, of
Yeah.
course, let people know where to find you, your website, your social media, all the things.
Of course. Yeah. So next year, I'm actually, speaking of retreats, I'm looking to partner again with like Black Girls Hike and just other
Yes.
folks
Hmm.
nearby. Um, I'm looking to establish more community and building the Soul Seekers Club in LA, being that
Yes.
I'm not sure if it's going to be my forever like landing spot. It's
Hmm.
funny because back to New York just to visit for the week, I thought like,
Hmm.
okay, I have to do the retreat, I have to do the workshop here because my network
Yeah.
is here. That's the only way I'll have like people sign up. But to my surprise, like I kind of had the epiphany that I can put the energy out there anywhere, whether if I'm in
Hmm.
New York or LA.
Hmm.
So I'm looking to branch for both. Like my goal is to be bi-coastal, my goal is to be worldwide.
Yes.
So I'll be
Yeah.
able to host workshops and mini retreats and long group trip retreats overseas um, at some point later this year and next year, but primarily also just starting with one-on-one coaching. So I'm really like scaling into what my offer looks like,
Yeah.
and I want to offer more creative conscious coaching. Um,
Hmm.
create other healers and creatives looking for like either need a thought partner to help them like
Hmm.
actualize their ideas, or if you actually need like media assistance in some capacity,
Yeah.
and or life and spiritual coaching, because all those things in my book go hand in hand. So
Yep.
helping you kind of get to your goal, but also clearing your path, your energetic field, so that you can get to those spaces. So
Yeah.
coaching, workshops, retreats, all those good things. And just more content, being more present online. And
Yeah.
online, you can find me. So you can find the Soul Seekers Club on Instagram. And I actually just launched the website not too long ago.
Oh,
So it's
amazing.
the Soul Seekers Club. And then my personal page, Brittnie Demosthene. I'm sure you'll write it all out because my
Yeah,
last name
absolutely.
and my first name is not spelled as traditional, but you can
Yes.
find my personal page and the Soul Seekers Club on Instagram and the website as well.
Yes, and I will definitely make sure to link all of that in the show notes so that the folks can find you. And just thank you so much for taking the time to share more of yourself, your gift, and your work with our listeners and joining me on the podcast. It's been really great and a beautiful conversation, and I appreciate it a lot. Thank you.
Thank you for having me, and I'm so happy to see you doing your thing. I'm
Yes,
so happy
thank
to
you.
see this podcast thriving, and thank you for having me as a guest. And I hope
Yeah.
to be able to work with you soon as well.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much, Brittnie. And thank you all for tuning in to this episode. Make sure that if you like what you heard, that you leave a rating, you leave a review, share this episode with a friend if it inspired you, if any part of the conversation gave you some food for thought, and we'll catch you in the next episode.